Yo, what's up everyone? It's Dykenstein here bringing some more DNF Duel content. Today we're going to be talking about the major patch that came out for DNF Duel. So if you don't know, the developers for DNF Duel stated a while back, I don't remember the exact tweet, but they said a major update is coming to the game on this stated date, and we are on that date, and the patch notes are out. The game actually has the update, and we can just basically look at the changes. Everybody basically know what's happening. So in case you don't know what's going on for DNF Duel, only a few characters got touched. That was Striker, Grappler, Hitman, and Swiftmaster. Swiftmaster having the most changes. We'll go over these changes in detail in just a second. But there's a few people that also that voiced their opinions on this nonetheless, and they definitely had a few things to say for how they feel about some of these changes. So this is how I felt post patch notes before the actual patch went live. I stated, this cannot be all there is. Well, feel sorry for all the people who were looking for a different feeling game after having us wait this long with poor communication. The DNF Duel team is something else. Squirrel also made some good points, stating targeting Swiftmaster heavily is good and addressing key things from Hitman / Striker is good. However, a patch that is nothing but nerfs is never fun. No system changes despite the game having a number of issues in regard, and no buffs to help weaker characters stand out. It's a good patch, but a dreadfully boring one, and feels more like a hot fix for a more urgent character things. So it says really needs to change on a system level. I think the way guard bar throws offense in general, its handle is limiting. Guard cancels needed to be normalized a bit, but oh well. So a few more here. Scrawl posted their opinions. Obviously they are a strong striker player. Scrawl said, I mean the notes were as expected. I literally told y'all the striker nerf does literally nothing. You should be able to break 1000s with DP1 anyway, although this should kill the 100 setups versus 1050s. I'm obviously disappointed about it, but expectations were really low, plus it's literally only been 2 months. I would have wanted more characters to become relevant, but it is what it is. Also, they didn't address lame Swift, so probably still top 1, just not 2 tiers above all. But I guess it wasn't all doom and gloom for everybody, because Sonic Soul stated these patch notes are actually perfect in my opinion. I wish they did something to guard cancel, but ultimately I agree with what they did. If you pay attention to competitive play, you will like these changes too. Now please add DLC characters and fix regional pricing. Thank you. So it seems like overall everybody is okay with the changes and the characters they pick for the changes as rightfully deserved for the characters probably, but people are just not happy with this. Is just the route that they took, right? People were expecting what they considered a major update, as the devs have been prolonging this to be. You know, with the communication with the devs being as poor as it's been up to this point, them talking about this is going to be a major update and then only just sort of nerfing just those 4 characters and not touching any other characters in the game. This just truly don't feel like it's that major update that they were promising us it would be. Besides the system changes, what a lot of people want as far as some of the systems inside the game to change, even small things like changing how much MP a moves cost for some characters could be a huge deal depending on the characters that we're talking about, right? So if you like lower the actual mana cost of something, that could be a huge deal for some of these characters, or make the MP regenerate on some of these things a little bit faster for some of these characters. These could be small tweaks but huge changes to some of the characters inside the cast, but they just saw nothing at all. Nobody really likes an entire thing that just, you know, just nerfs. I mean, obviously some people be happy for some of the nerfs for the characters, but people definitely want to see a couple of buffs to some of the characters in the cast as well. So what happened to these 4 characters basically? Let's go and break down these changes real quick. So Striker has reduced guard stun after the second hit of her Rising Fish, which is going to be her DP. So this means she can't really do this reliably. Now there have been people who already shown a way to get the hit 1 hit of DP to actually work from this, but from the double hit, this is going to be significantly harder to do. It's just going to be harder for her basically to get these guard crushes and stuff on you. That is the change they wanted. So it's still like a main part of her game plan, but they just want it to be harder to do for some reason. So this is the change that they implemented on Striker. So it's going to be much easier for you to actually DP her out of this if she tries to do this in block stun. Now this doesn't mean she doesn't have a way to make herself safe, because she can do DP1 cancel like that and then go into a block ring. It's just she's not going to be able to get the MP regen that she used to be able to get because of the JD kicks or the JMS kicks. She can no longer do that as reliably as she could before. So all the Grappler change was trying to do was reduce the untaggable time on his Magnum Saw. So this charge version right here, they wanted to reduce the untech time on this, and this was trying to prevent something that this character had that you really don't see come up that often from other people, and that is Grappler actually has an infinite. It's a pretty hard infinite to do, and that's why you never really see it come into play, but apparently he can still do it. Here's a clip of it right here. So the Hitman changes are pretty interesting because they touch his DP. So there actually is a window of a gap now because they reduce the amount of blocks done on the final hit before he goes into the shattering strike. So just to demonstrate what that looks like, just like that. So you can see you can punish this gap now. There is a punishable gap there. However, what you need to know about this gap is that there's only an 8-frame window. So what this means is if you press a button that is 8 frames, you'll actually trade it with him, and that means it actually trades in his favor because of how much hit stun he has. So just to demonstrate that, just like that. So you see he was able to combo off of our trade, so the trade is definitely in his favor. So you need to have a 7-frame or faster button that can reach that distance where he is at as far as where you block the DP. Now there's another way to actually get around this, and this is actually to roll the shattering strike, and then this makes it a 5-frame punish window. So just to demonstrate that as well, just like that. So you see punish came up on the screen. Striker has a 5-frame jab. This allows her to roll and punish this. So there are a few ways you can now deal with this, and this is something you can do inside the corner now too. So you could do this and get a punish on it as long as you are right on that 5-frame button. You can't get it, like I said, it is pretty difficult. I mean, it is a 5-frame, so you do have to get it just right. But it is another option that everybody has that they could put on the table as long as you have that 5-frame button. And I guess the little balancing they did for the DP was increase the actual guard pushback. So I guess it makes it sort of harder to punish. So if you had a button that like used to reach that was 7 frames before, you might want to check it again to make sure, because this may come into play now because of the little bit of extra pushback to the final strike of the DP actually has. So just check your buttons. And lastly, Swiftmaster, who I think definitely got some pretty significant changes to their toolkit. First off, with their MP regeneration rate, starting off with the wind twist, this move right here. So this move only lasts for about 3 seconds. Now it doesn't last as long, which is one of the other changes we'll talk about in a second, but look how long it takes for their actually MP to regenerate. This takes quite a certain amount of time, and I'm doing the manual input. So this means the manual input lasts almost as long as the wind. Now if you do the shortcut, look how long it takes. Very, very long, right? So still not regenerating. There we go, finally. So it takes considerable amount of more time. The orb, the wind orb, definitely got another hit. So this is the easy input. As you see, it took a while, and then this is the manual input. So this one not too big, but it is sort of it's not instant as it used to be. It used to definitely be a lot more instant. And if we do the actual follow-up, this is the manual input, still takes quite a bit. And if we do the other input, it doesn't even last how long that lasts. So you see, it takes a very long time, as you see. So definitely going to take a while for you to actually get your MP to start regenerating. When you do this, and especially if you're not doing those manual inputs for this character, you will definitely feel it a lot more than usual. So a lot of Swiftmaster big damage push tools got some minimum damage changes as well. So we're going to be looking at the Storm Strike, which is going to be the tap. So when he does the, the hold button, he holds it for a bit. And he does this. So when they do that in a combo, they'll do like 2B into this like 3 times in a row in a combo. This will have minimum damage on it, so it won't be doing as much damage. They also put minimum damage on his Storm Strike. So if you do either this, so this is the Hurricane, and the actual Storm Strike is going to be when you have the winds up, this one. So if he has the winds up and he does this, these all do considerable less amount of damage the more longer the combo is. So they wanted to make sure these aren't like making him get a lot of extra damage at the end of his combos as before. So minimum damage definitely got scaled on these. They also reduced the amount of guard damage that this character does to you on some very significant moves, especially on the actual routes that some people are doing. So some of the noticeable ones are going to be this right here. So this does a lot less guard damage than it does now. The actual white life is still there, but the amount of guard damage it does is very insignificant as it used to be. You see it not really doing as much as it used to be. And if you do this move, so the Sonic move, this right here doesn't do as much as well as the Wind Blaster. So this one both in the air and ground, it doesn't do as much as it used to. So these are the 3 moves they touch for his guard break. So he's not going to be able to do the strings that he used to do as much as frequently to basically be able to guard break you, because Swiftmaster was one of the characters that actually got some pretty good guard breaks. And the last few changes were like some damage changes and some stun changes. So this move right here, which we just talked about, the 5S, is going to have reduced guard stun time and is reduced damage. So overall just going to do just less damage in the combos, on top of him just having more scaling, right? So just the more scaling, minimal scaling on top of just reduced damage overall on this move on top of the other moves is going to do less damage than what he did before. the wind twist, which we talked about before, gonna have less duration, so it's not gonna last nearly as long before. And one thing they did change, you can actually guard cancel this move and not worry about getting hit. Before, they didn't go away, so you actually get hit by one, which could potentially kill you in this situation. Now you don't have to worry about that anymore. And they changed the way Sonic move works, so when you do this, obviously it does less gray life, like we said, or less block stun, like we said. This is also going to do less stun, just guard stun, period, when you do it in the down forward position. So when you do it in this position, it does less for some reason. I don't know why they wanted to do it on that one specifically, but that one specifically has less guard stun on it now, so you may be able to challenge more than what you could before. And that pretty much does it for the major patch for DNF Duel, as the developer stated. Like I said, this definitely felt a bit underwhelming for sure. Definitely just wanted to see just overall not too much crazy things, but just a new feeling game. I want to see some other characters get some more representation and stuff, but I feel like the game is going to be somewhat in the same spot. Some things are not going to be as strong, but I still feel like these characters are still some of the stronger characters in the game, because some of the other characters just didn't get anything, right? So we may see some small representation of more characters, because Swiftmaster definitely got touched the most. Maybe some other characters aren't going to be as oppressed as before, but for the most part, I think the game is going to be staying relatively the same. But anyway, guys, you guys already know. Let me know down in the comments below how you guys feel about the DNF Duel patch. Did you want more? How you guys feel about the overall feeling of how the developers are holding up their communication side, like how they are not as transparent as they could be. Also, where is the DLC? Let me know how you guys feel about no announcements or anything. How you guys feel about the state of the game overall? Let me know everything down in the comments below. As always, like anything I had to say, drop me a like. I really appreciate it. And if you're more from me, on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.